Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Wagner, technical lead at Open Force Field, and this is our July and August 2025 infrastructure update. We have support for Naggle charges in the release pipeline. Basically, all of the code changes are made, and many of the needed package releases are already done. We're expecting to have the rest of them done by the end of the week. As a reminder, this is important because this is needed for the release of OpenFF 2.3.0. And what it does is it allows this new field inside of Smirnov format force fields that specify, instead of using toolkit AM1BCC, that Naggle charges will be called. That specifies a model file, which in this initial release will be AM1BCC, but in the future could be a more advanced model trained to a better level of theory. And also to ensure that people can fetch newer models as they become available or as newer force fields demand them. Um, the package has gained a remote fetching ability. So if a new force field comes out, instead of needing to update your Conda environment, because I know some people are kind of locked down, there's the ability to fetch these from Zenodo DOIs. It can go out and fetch the model file once and then use that moving forward. We have spent quite a bit of effort this past month working with OpenFE to set up protein force field benchmarking for our Smirnov protein force field project. Irfan Alibay at OpenFE is leading this charge. We've been meeting with him basically daily for the past month to help implement this prototype for Smirnov protein support. This is important because it's going to enable free energy benchmarks of Chapin's protein and small molecule force fields. This is the trunk of our effort towards making Rosemary our protein and small molecule force field. And so what's been really helpful with this is that OpenFE has been using some of our API points in different ways than we've been testing them internally. And also they've been using some of our kind of bleeding edge things. And this has turned up a couple bug fixes and other improvements we can make. For example, in the next month, you'll probably hear about a new release of the FF14SB port. What we've seen happen is that the proteins get faithful FF14SB parameters, but sometimes the ligands, if they have a moiety that looks exactly like an ACE or NME cap, will get protein parameters from FF14SB. This is kind of obnoxious. This is reproducible. This is the force fields doing the right thing according to the theory of Smirnov force fields, where the most specific parameter wins, and the protein parameters are the most specific. So all previous results with this are valid. I think just a lot of people would find that behavior surprising. So we're likely to make a new release of this FF14SB port that just has a much more specific SMRCs to make sure that these ACE and NME caps only hit proteins. We ended up having a great discussion on box setup and solvation methods. We're toying around with the idea of providing a box setup method in our API, but solvation can be tricky and people have different ways of doing it, and it would be a great convenience for our users, but this turned up a great discussion about what is the right way to solvate a box for simulation. Whether or not this becomes public is still up for debate, but it's been great for us, and this is something that can be rolled over into our own work. And also, OpenFE had done some experimenting with some of the new Naggle models handling functionality and realized that the outputs of one method were invalid inputs to the next method logically in a sequence of calling these things, something which we never really tried internally. So we're working around that, and overall, it's been really good that we're finding these things before they reach our end users. But all of this is really important because it means that the day that we do release the protein force field in Smirnov, or this Smirnov protein and small molecule force field, we will be that much closer to the OpenFE implementation. So hopefully this will let us get useful workflows in your hands quicker by doing the preparatory work now. And finally, we've made a number of core package releases in the past 2 months. We've just released OpenFF Toolkit version 0.17.0, and this now comes with Naggle by default. We've made some improvements through our stack to do quantity conversion faster, and that means that a bunch of different operations like deserializing objects from disk and loading force fields will be faster. And also, we've gotten a good amount of user feedback on interchange, especially on the interoperability front. So we've got some improvements to GROMACS and LAMMPS export, as well as some convenience methods and some improvements towards component combination. So building the groundwork for a lot of cool stuff. I'm hoping that we'll have really neat things to show you in coming months, but if I talk more today, it'll just be more technical details. So thank you very much.